Welcome viewers to this NPTEL course on educational leadership. So, we have already discussed many topics. So, for today's session our topic is turnaround leadership and educational entrepreneurship. So, we will be discussing about turnaround leadership, what does it mean, what are the qualities and capabilities of the turnaround leaders, and educational entrepreneurship. So, in the beginning we have already discussed about academic leaders, authentic academic leaders, etc. So, in which way the turnaround leaders are little bit different, or how they can bring 360-degree change in the whole educational system, educational institution, that we will discuss about this. So, leadership is about motivating people, diverse people to work together to achieve a common goal. We have already discussed about how to manage diversity and inclusion in the educational context. So, leadership goes beyond just running the institution or just carrying out the administrative workload. So, leadership is for all purpose, for multidimensional roles, multidimensional activities. So, leadership in essence we can say leadership is about motivating people in the workplace who are from the diverse background. So, again motivating diverse people to work together and to achieve a common goal, which is the superordinate goal for the institution. So, it is about energizing the team members. So, it is about, again moreover leadership is about inspiring the people, motivating the people, encouraging the people to make good decisions and attain collective achievements. So, leadership is to inspire people to work for the common goal, collective achievement, and to take the right decision to make effort to attain the collective goal. And effective leadership also inspires more than empowers. So, here is a famous quotation given by Mintzberg, like leadership is about inspiring the people more than it empowers, connects more than controls, demonstrates more than decides. So, here leadership is about motivating others, inspiring others than empowering others. So, it is more a spirit of encouraging others, connecting to people, establishing the interpersonal relations, connecting the people than controlling their behavior, and demonstrates more than it decides. He has to role model, he has to display, he has to demonstrate what he intends to say, what he intends to achieve. So, then decides, then making the decision making, final decisions. So, here leadership is about how innovative you are in motivating people, how inspirational you are in transforming the whole institution, how how positive you are in bringing out all the capabilities and competencies among your staff, among your colleague, and how to transform your institution, your educational system into 360-degree positive degree. So, leadership is does not just come from the top. So, here again what should be the direction of leadership? Leadership should not be always from top to bottom, but rather it should be multidimensional, in the sense from sometime bottom to top, sometimes it is horizontal, sometimes it is circular, sometimes it is triangular. So, it's a kind of a blending of different dimensions. So, if you adhere to the hierarchical structure or the from top to bottom kind of things, it will not work. Everyone is the leader of change in their own areas of expertise. Here another quality of the leaders are there. They believe that every individual can be a leader in their respective field, with their expertise, with their talents, with their competencies. They can also bring transformation into the workplace. So, it is not just that he is the leader, he is the boss, and everybody has to abide by him, or he can dictate everything. It is not that kind of mindset, but he can encourage, inspire everybody, every individual to contribute in their respective field, to act like a leader, to be an emergent leader, and to establish their expertise in the workplace. So, be it the area of expertise, be it finance, be it HR, be it effective training, be it productive learning, etc., whatever may be the domain, whatever may be the sphere. So, the leader must encourage every individual staff, every individual colleague, every individual teacher to be the expert, to be the you can say the stalwart in their respective field. So, here the role of a turnaround leadership. The turnaround leadership means they want to just bring the 360-degree change in the institution, change in the educational system. So, the turnaround leadership goes beyond the capabilities and bring together the distinct profile of emotional intelligence and cognitive ability. So, the turnaround leadership, it is much above your institutional leadership or academic leadership or authentic leadership. It is just that means you can say it is the topmost quality of leadership, whose vision and mission and goals are quite large. So, hence it because it goes beyond certain responsibilities and the domain expertise and this kind of knowledge and information setup, but it has to be, that means the leaders they have to mix up, they have to perfectly acquire, perfectly blend emotional intelligence as well as the cognitive ability. So, both the mixture of blending, perfect blending of intellectual caliber, high intellectual caliber with high emotional intelligence. So, they can perfectly blend, then only they can bring the transformation, complete transformation in the institution. So, here we can say turnaround leaders listen, link and lead. So, so we will discuss about some of their competencies and the qualities and the key competencies and the capabilities. So, first thing is that turnaround leaders listen to others, they listen to others, they try to link to everybody, even though those who opposes to his ideas, those are the protesters, etc., but even to them also he listens and he links and then lead. So, he wants to lead by taking all together. So, turnaround leaders reach out to those who will make a desired change, work with a well argued evidence based case. So, first of all the turnaround leaders, they identify the individuals with their potentialities, with their profiles, with their their extraordinary capacities. So, and who can really brings the desired change in the institution. So, initially he just identifies and reach out to those people who are really potential, who are really outstanding, outgoing in, and whom he believe that these people can really bring change in my institution, in my workplace, because it is not possible for one individual leader to bring transformation, and work with a well argued evidence based case, and he wants to work with the people who can establish their views, opinions, viewpoints with arguments, with the dialogue, with the communications, with the proof and evidence based case. He wants to be convinced with some kind of evidence which has already happened in other institution, other academic environment, etc. So, he invites people with their potentials. He also encourages to have the dialogue and argument, and also he also wants to look for the evidence, that the examples, you can say the proofs, or that means the empirical findings or the any kind of factual findings which has already taken place somewhere else. They listen with a menu of what has been done elsewhere. When they listen to others, they invite their opinions, their views, their options, so their choices, etc. So, when he listens to others, he listens with a menu. That means what has been done elsewhere, who has done what thing, how successful they have been, what is their outcome, how, that means what is the percentage of benefits. So, all these things he wants to listen and successfully address with the focus of bringing the improvement in their in his own institution. So, by listening to others success stories, by listening to others approaches and the benefits they have got out of these things, then he wants to bring further improvement by listening to all these options, avenues, etc. Then he tries to find out the best approach, best strategy to improve his own institution. They actively listen in order to identify, link and distill the elements of a workable and productive action plan. So, before drawing a action plan, they not just listen to the others viewpoint and strategies, they identify which will be the most effective in their own institutional context, they try to develop, or they try to link those things to their own institutional requirements or the situations or the factors, and distill, then just you can say screen out and take the essence of the whole things for adaptation, for improvement in their own institution. So, they actively listen in order to identify, link it to their own institution and own colleague and staff, distill the elements, making it more clear, crystal clear, and to form a workable and productive action plans. The ultimate goal is to design a work plan which will which will work out, which will be successful, which will be productive in case of their own institution. So, they actively invite the people to join. So, they always welcome the people from different spheres, different work setup, diverse workplaces to join to their institutions, then join to his institutions, because they are very open minded in inviting the ideas, inviting the technology, inviting the opportunities, identify with the steered engagement. So, then when after inviting the active people, those who are very enthusiastic and they are very open minded, they are very having the vision and mission. So, they invite them and identify them with the steered engagement, how to engage these people in the workplace. So, he has to design a framework. So, that is called the steered engagement. That means how to engage, how to not only inviting the people to join, but how to design the work plan, so that these people will be actively engaged in the improvement process. So, they also listen carefully to the registers and the protester, and in this process of development, bringing change, etc. So, there will be definitely some protesters, some registers who will be opposing to their views, etc. But again, they do not discourage these people, they do not just ignore these people, rather they listen to them, and also they, after listening to their viewpoints and perspective, they just evaluate it, they just reflect upon these and verify the authenticity of their resistance or opposition. So, then again try to find out, screen out which will be authentic, and by looking into these factors, how can we further improve our quality, etc. So, in this way they try to overcome the roadblocks or remove those hurdles, by further strengthening the action plan, by making it more strategic, and settle down the issues with the negotiation, with the mutual negotiation, understanding, and convincing them that yes, we will take care of those things. Yes, definitely these factors will not happen, and how to improve the quality further by taking into consideration their viewpoints. So, listening to others enables to take the ego out to empathize. So, here the main thing is that how to take the ego out of the role. That means, here the thing is that even though he is an empowered leader, he is the empowered leader, he is an people nominated a leader, or he is a designated leader. So, even then he that means he is not very much influenced by his own ego, that I am the boss or I am so and so, etc. But rather he is very empathetic in listening to others, in understanding their viewpoints, understanding their perspectives, and he has the ability to tolerate the ambiguity, even if there is any ambiguity in their opinion, in their statements, etc. He tolerates it, bear with it for some time, and try to clarify it, and think about the opposite views and ideas, etc. weigh its authenticity, its credibility, and its after effects, maybe that what would be the consequence if you do not take into consideration these things. He evaluates from all dimensions, being retrospective, being introspective, being reflective. He evaluates all the opposition's viewpoints, ideas, as well as the supporters viewpoints. He evaluates, reflects upon things thoroughly, and then only design the strategic action plan. So, they enables the turnaround leader enables them to synthesize the diverse ideas to come up with a successful action plan for change. You know, as all of us we know that the when diversity emerges, definitely it is going to be the most effective action plan or the outcome or the product, because diverse people, different people, they think from different perspectives. So, they can give us the feedback about the pros and cons of every option, every strategy. And here, if after synthesizing all these diverse ideas, opinions and strategies, etc., now at the end when we reach to the final solution or final strategy, so definitely it is more it's more, you can say, hazard proof, more risk proof, more productive, more you can say versatile, more authentic, more valuable, in the sense that yes, in case of any kind of emergence problem also, that means this final decision or this consensus will address to each and every dimension, every corner of the society. That means it can cater to the needs of all the stakeholders. So, it cannot easily overlook any of the aspects unattended. So, the diverse decision, that means this consensus of the diverse people, diverse ideas. So, definitely is going to be more productive, more effective, more sustainable, and which can bring the sustainable change in the institution. So, turnaround leaders actively involve those who will make the desired change work, lead with them in partnership and learn by doing. So, in this process, the turnaround leaders not only identify the successful, that means potential individuals having the extraordinary capacity or capability, willpower, enthusiasm, motivation. So, not only he has identified and make them involved in the action plan, but also make sure that they really bring change in the workplace, they really bring change in the working pattern, process, or in the institutional culture, lead with them. And also he is willing, the turnaround leaders, they are willing to partner, make the partnership with such kind of people, even if they are outside the institution, and they further continue to learn by engaging themselves with these with these potential partners, or by learning by doing. So, they also continue their learning process as well. So, in this context, the turnaround leaders actually plays three critical roles. So, the first thing is that the turnaround leaders, you can say, they have to demonstrate what they intend to bring, or what they intend to change, what they intend to bring, what they intend to modify the system, or what they intend to manifest, or what they intend to materialize actually in the workplace. So, they have to demonstrate it, model it, they have to, sometimes they teach, give examples, that means articulate about this facts and the schemes and the vision and mission, etc. And in this process also they themselves learn. So, the critical roles are like, they intentionally model the change capable culture they want their institution to develop. Like not only verbally articulating that yes, I want to bring this change, that change, or I want to see my institution in that way, in that point of that height of of this academic world, this and that. But instead of only just saying and verbally articulating, say he himself wants to bring the change, he himself wants to demonstrate the change, model the change. So, like change of what type of culture he actually wants to bring. So, he intentionally model the change capable culture they want their institution to develop. How to change the workplace culture? So, he himself has to demonstrate it through his day-to-day activity. They teach their staff how best to implement a desired change. Again, all the turnaround leaders, they individually teach their staff, their colleague, their all the teachers how to implement the desired change by specifically, categorically explaining these things. So, they take on the role of a learner. So, simultaneously they are also learning, they are learning by doing, they are learning by experiencing, they are learning by communicating, listening to others, negotiating with others. So, they take on the role of the learner, seeing what does and does not work. They constantly introspect, they reflect upon what actually which their strategies or the plans they have introduced, whether it really worked or not. So, they constantly evaluate what does work in the workplace and what does not work in their workplace, and self monitor their own performance from time to time, being introspective, being retrospective, being reflective, to bring the constant modification, constant improvement, constant refinement, that is continuous improvement in their performance and behavior. So, again to bring the critical change in the work culture, these leaders, they should intentionally model the desired attributes, capabilities in their everyday behavior. So, that means not only about the what sort of change they want to bring in the work culture in terms of activities, in terms of the policy implementation, in terms of relationship building, etc., but they also what kind of desirable attributes they try to develop among the staff, among the colleagues, that what kind of competencies, what kind of capabilities they want to bring among the staff, they also have to demonstrate it. So, every specific attribute which is required for bringing the change, every specific competency and capability they want to bring among the staff, they themselves have to demonstrate it, model it, explain it, being very explicit in narrating, explaining and performing in that way. To build a change capable culture, these leaders should create opportunities for peers to share the successful practices in the areas of change again. So, to bring the change capable culture, it is not just enough that the leader, he takes all initiatives, but he also enables others to take the equal initiative, to be equally enthusiastic, and for that matter he has to create various opportunities for them, so that the colleagues, the staff, they can also prove their potentialities, they can also prove their capabilities, and they will be more enthusiastic in the sense that they will also taste the flavor of success, or they will also develop some kind of self satisfaction, self esteem and self efficacy, that yes, I have significantly contributed for my institution, I have done this, and they should be, and their efforts should be acknowledged, they should be rewarded, they should be praised, and they should be given some kind of incentives to promote their motivation, to promote their skills and competencies, etc. So, the leader has to create such opportunities to facilitate the to groom the next generation of leaders, to facilitate to groom, not only to bring change in the work culture, but to inspire everybody to bring change within themselves, so that they can continue these practices and in the areas of the change, and they can continue and they can make the organization more sustainable. That means once in one point of time it will be automatic, that means it is sustainable in the sense that whatever modification changes, those were which were happened in the past, now it has become a regular feature, characteristics of that institution, and is ongoing, continuing. That means it has made sustainable. So, it continues without any backup support presently also. So, in consultation with the teaching learning centers, so it is not just about the work culture or the interpersonal relationship or the attitude and competencies, but also they have to focus on the academic environment as well, academic environment, quality of education, quality of teaching, all these aspects are equally important. So, in consultation with teaching learning centers, these leaders should ensure that their programs align with the staff's key change and learning needs. So, they have to align these, that means they have to consult with other leaders, academic leaders, other teaching learning centers, etc. That is, what is the latest technology, what is the latest curriculum, what is the latest pedagogy, how technology can perfectly enhance the teaching effectiveness, learning effectiveness. So, how to bring these key changes in the learning, in the teaching learning areas. So, he also that means make sure that these changes, these programs should be properly aligned with their academic curricula, with their teaching practices as well. The learning programs should be designed to learn by doing and design the future learning experiences for the next generation learner. So, it is not just enough to focus on the updating the curricula or improving the quality of education, improving the quality of students performance, academic achievement, or aligning technology with pedagogy and content, etc. for the present purpose, but again he has to have a future vision. He has to have the vision for the next generations, the next few generations, so that again he can plan for the next generation leaders, next generation students and the teachers. So, for future prospect of the institution, for future prospects of the academic institutions. So, the turnaround leaders, they take on the 3 critical roles, like the profile of the effective teacher should match with the profile of a turnaround leader. Hence, we can say that here how the turnaround leaders profile can perfectly match with the teacher profile or with the profile of an effective teacher, because he is leading an educational institution. So, being a leader in some other organizations where the primary focus is on the productivity or the stakeholder business or any kind of other things, but here it has to be focused on the education, quality of education, then establishing the relationship with the stakeholders, or you can say the whole society is the stakeholders, and educational institutions are having the values, ethics, etc. Their goals are completely different. It is more qualitative, it is more valuable. So, here in educational institutions, the turnaround leaders profile should perfectly match with an effective teacher. Before becoming a leader, he has to be an effective teacher. So, then only he can understand what kind of changes he should bring in the curriculum, what kind of changes he should bring in the teaching practices or in the pedagogy. So, the profile of an effective teacher and the effective turnaround leader should be perfectly matching with each other. So, then only it is possible to bring the transformation in the institution. So, to create the organizational settings in which the knowledge can be grown, shared and applied as a strategic resource. Here, the institution will be leading towards the knowledge towards not only developing the knowledge society, knowledge community within the institution, but outside the institutions. So, here the primary focus will be creation of the knowledge, sharing that knowledge, applying those knowledge for knowledge as a strategic resource for the community development, for the social development and for the larger value of the welfare of the society. So, it's here it's that means we are leading, the leaders should focus on leading towards the knowledge society. So, now the institution is a significant or very important component of this knowledge society, and we as an academic institution, we are perfectly knowledge oriented, not only in creating the knowledge, in sharing the knowledge and disseminating the knowledge, and in using the knowledge as a strategic resource for development and upliftment. So, specialized knowledge can be specialized knowledge to be developed in the areas of workforce. Besides, as we have already discussed, like teaching pedagogy is one dimension, teaching pedagogy and teaching learning process, students learning needs, personalized learning. This is one component. Another component is running the institution, running the organization effectively. Hence, specialized knowledge should be developed among the workforce, like colleagues, among the teachers, among the staff, supporting staff, administrative staff with regard to specific jobs, like how to improve the learning quality, productivity improvement, stakeholder management, relationship, change management, and again resource management. So, in different specialized area also it needs to be improved. So, in this context, Australian Council for Educational Research and Australian Learning and Teaching Council, they have outlined some of the competence and the capabilities to be part of the teacher turnaround leaders training program. So, many empirical works, research and policy strategies documents, strategies policy documents have come up. You can get it in the internet. So, out of which I have gone through this Australian Council for Education Research and Learning and Teaching Council Development, which they have specifically categorically outlined some specific competencies and capabilities to be developed for the turnaround leaders training program. So, for bringing the 360 change or total transformation in our educational programs. So, we stop here. In the next class we will continue about these competencies and capabilities of the turnaround leaders. Thank you.